Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Rhyme of the Times for the week ending 2nd of September 2023. A Me Too moment for Spain. Ukraine makes gains with more land reclaimed while drone strikes are sustained. Gnats can't control the planes, causing travellers pain and a need to complain. The government is caned and shamed, reputation stained, and viewed with disdain, for school buildings under strain with concrete to blame that has too much air contained. For the Spanish FA chief it started with a kiss, and no one at the time thought it would come to this. Spain's women's football team had their finest hour soured by the man in the highest position of power. Most think Luis Rubiales is a bit of a bozo with his antics since he kissed Jenny Hermoso. The soccer smacker that quickly went viral when it landed on Jenny's lips after the final soon landed Luis in global hot water. He initially apologised, well sorta, but then doubled down saying it was consensual. But it wasn't essential and was way too sensual. And not even consensual, according to Jenny. Takers for his version of events weren't many. And now the president of the Spanish FA has a Spanish FA inquiry heading his way. FIFA had already suspended him from his role as the scandal spiralled out of control. Then on Monday, Rubiales' elderly mum started a hunger strike in support of her son. Air traffic control on Monday lost control, and by the end of the week it had taken its toll. The flight tracking screen looks like a swarm of gnats, but the gnats were not moving because of gnats. National Air Traffic Services had a glitch with their computer which caused a major hitch. Some unreliable data couldn't be read, so the computer switched to manual instead. Just a 1-hour breakdown in automation created days of consternation. Hundreds of thousands of travellers were stranded. Compensation and explanations demanded. Ukraine's counter-offensive is accelerating, pushing back Russia's illegal occupation, trying to get the end of the conflict hastened by having the Russians chased and chastened. And while Ukraine's push has been gathering pace, for months its drones have assailed Russia's airspace. Not doing great damage to Russians, but at least they're getting pissed off at Ukraine going off-piste. Meanwhile, a delayed admission from the Kremlin. Prigozhin's plane crash was not caused by a gremlin. Foul play is a possibility, there is no doubt. Was Putin involved? Wash your mouth out. Russia will carry out an investigation but needs no help from any outside nation, and the Russian people will believe the conclusion that there was no state involvement, no Kremlin collusion. And if there was, why give a damn? Prigozhin was no friend of the motherland. For far too long he'd lost control of his gob. Each social media rant became a hatchet job. A polemic about Russia's misfiring army, commanded by a useless hierarchy. The mini-coup had Putin's patience snapping. The tailspin in the sphere was a crash bound to happen. With the march to Rostov and all that occurred on that amazing Friday of June 23rd, people had got excited. Was this Putin's end? But then we remembered he and Yevgeny were friends. Before we thought of dancing on Putin's hearse, we knew it wise to remember Prigozhin was worse. To get loyalty in his ranks, he usually preferred a sledgehammer to the skull of suspected deserters. So falling 28,000 feet with no parachute was a fitting finale for this barbaric brute. Mid-Bedfordshire at last waved goodbye to Nardine after the longest resignation the world's ever seen. On Tuesday, a ritual of antiquity was observed to remove her as a serving MP. So, with the I's dotted and the T's crossed, another Boris loyalist into history was tossed. She quit with immediate effect, 9th of June, but then stayed 3 months in the last chance saloon. Constituents say she downed tools long before that, collecting her ministerial pay like a fat cat, tarnishing her own and the Tory party image ever since she was denied her much longed for peerage. And at the weekend her resignation swan song was a barbed letter to Rishi on all he's done wrong. She went at the Prime Minister hammer and tongs. He, like many others, must be glad that she's gone. Another Boris ally, but a completely different beast, Defence Secretary Ben Wallace, whose departure at least was respectful, dignified, in a tone of deference, a diplomat to the end on the government's defence. Can Grant Shapps, a jack of 5 departments in 1 year, now master defence? Maybe not, many fear. Engineers long ago didn't know of the trouble being stored up by their new concrete with bubbles. Then in time they realised it would all turn to rubble. That time has come and, oh, what a muddle. Just as the school year's about to begin, 156 schools can't let pupils in. Those schools, racked with rack, can't let the kids back. So the government once more is under attack. Parents as aerated as their school's concrete beams. Teachers hastily setting up Microsoft Teams. The question that has many people rankled, why were ministers caught with pants round their ankles? And now they are facing the blame and the guilt. No point in crying with so much milk spilt. Schools and public trust have to be quickly rebuilt.